It's the Harv and Jace show.
So everything was perfect.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Sibilance.
Yes.
Harvey, we're rolling, bud.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on, man?
it's the
Harv and Jace show. But we got a new intro now because we just heard the one and only DJ Shub.
Yeah,
The Harv and Jace.
show.
That's cool, man. We were
Yeah.
always like, how we're going to do a cool little thing. And
No, that's about as cool as it gets.
yeah, that's about as cool as it gets. And DJ Shub, man,
Yeah, man. World renowned.
world renowned, like celebrated. One of the best scratching DJs, like known
Yeah.
to man.
The best one I know personally.
Right? I know, right? It
Personally,
doesn't get
anyway.
better than that,
Yeah.
man. It's insane this guy's history. So let's just bring him out, man.
Yeah.
Come on out, DJ,
DJ
Shub.
Shub.
Ow! All right, yeah. Rattle-worthy. Hell yes.
Segos.
Wow.
Man, that was an ace intro.
I know, right?
I can keep doing that.
That's right. Oh man, the skills. Thank you for the Harv and Jace intro, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
It's original and it's fun.
Yeah.
And well, how often can you get your show done by the one and only DJ Shub?
Right?
How cool
I
is
think
that?
That's an exclusive.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
exclusive thing.
I'll send you my invoice.
Yes, I know, right? And we got to move that up
Send
the
that
line.
to my
We'll,
secretary.
we'll keep moving it up until it comes back, you know. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see
Thanks
you too.
for making
It's
the
been a while.
track. We're so excited to have you here because you have exciting news, you know, that we want to get to. But the thing is, you're from Six Nations too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I got family here, and
yep.
I didn't grow up in Six Nations, but I was here like every weekend.
Right.
You know, like I have family here, and
But if
you're
you
my
don't grow-
family actually.
Yeah, exactly.
We're related.
We
so
found out we're cousins. Yep.
yeah, so yeah, it's always this is my home. You know,
Yep.
like in my heart, it's my home. I live
And
in Fort Erie, but
That's where you're born and raised in Fort Erie.
yeah,
Awesome,
yeah.
man.
I was actually born in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, Buffalo, New
Yeah,
York.
and I
Rough
moved to
Buff.
the Rough Buff.
But
yeah.
that's a lot of our people, the Iroquois people, are on both sides of the borders, right? So
Yeah.
there's really can't really say it's all our home, really,
That's
right?
traditional territory all
Yeah,
around
For
there.
sure. A lot of ironworkers
Yeah.
are from out there. My grandfather and my father were both ironworkers. And
Right? Did
So,
you get
yeah.
into that stuff?
No, I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights, man.
I know, me too.
I like to stay planted. You know?
I know, right? That's
Grounded.
crazy.
Grounded. That's it.
So it's really cool. You we're with a Tribe Called Red, right? What year was that? This was
I
when
started.
you first started.
Yeah, I started with them. I connected with them in 2009. I think is when I officially started playing with them
Right.
and producing for them up until 2014.
Right.
So
And
it's
what was
good.
that like? Because you were credited widely as like the
Yeah.
Godfather of
The
PowWowStep.
PowWowStep, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's amazing, dude. Like before you, it was kind of just always been a concept, you know what I mean? And then to somebody to come and do it. And I remember my wife telling me back in the day, it's like, oh, we're going to see Tribe Called Red. I was like, who's this? You know, because I've been in the music a long time, right? And I
Yeah.
wasn't really sure. And then you guys were like packing places before you were even really like known, right?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It was
The
it
word
was
spread.
it was crazy to me. Like my first time at so they used to play these huge parties. Tribe before I joined them,
Yep.
they play these parties in Ottawa called the Electric Powwow.
That's it.
So that was like for me. I went up and I did a showcase there because they knew I was like an old battle DJ, right?
Yeah.
And I was like the only indigenous DJ to ever do the DMCs and battle and stuff. So
Those competitions.
one of them anyway. There's
Yeah.
there's a bunch of them out there, but to get to that level, so they had me out there to do a showcase, and it was there when I saw it was sold out, a club full of brown faces, just
Crazy.
jamming out to like at the time they were doing like mashups and mashing up like grass dance songs with like dubstep stuff.
Oh, amazing.
You know, so they didn't have production at the time, but they were they were close to it.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I saw that, I got chills, and I'm
Cool.
like, man, this is like some crazy stuff that I haven't heard, and
Right.
like it just feels different, like. So that's when I told him, I says, hey man, I produce. I don't know if you know that.
Right.
I'm like, because up until then I was just producing hip hop and just beats, and I know Tim well. Me and him used to trade beats all the time,
Yep.
hip hop stuff.
Tim Hill.
Tim
from
Hill,
Six Nations
Thule,
as well.
yeah, for sure. And so I just said, hey, like let me take this idea, let me take it home and try something, and that weekend I came home, I made Electric Power Drum was the first song that I made, and I sent it to him.
Right.
And it was funny because I tell this story all the time. I almost didn't send it to him because I was like,
Wow.
I was like, is this all right? And my wife, Jules, she was like, this is $1 million track. You need to send this to them.
Oh,
I said,
awesome.
okay, cool, yeah. And I sent it to them, and they're like, okay, you want to be with us? You want to be in the group? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So
That's cool,
from
man.
there,
It's
it was
a
just.
no-brainer.
It just snowballed so quick, right? Because it was like it was accepted, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it was a generational thing. Like not only young people were liking
Right.
it, but it brought together the old and the young.
Right. And also the contemporary and traditional.
Yes,
Which
exactly.
is huge
Yeah.
in music. That's the thing I'm still straddling as like a pop artist,
Mhm.
So,
And what we did and what we didn't know what we were doing was we were creating a comfortable space for our people, right, to come out,
Yeah.
especially in Ottawa, like
and to
that,
come and just let loose.
let
right?
loose, yeah, and let a place to be around your own people. So it's almost like an urban social sort of thing that we
Exactly.
were doing, right?
And Electric Powwow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, and it just snowballed from there, and the rest is history.
Yeah, no, that's good. But you guys did a lot of like there was kind of like a meteoric rise, right? Like you were won the Junos, and then you got the Polaris Prize, which is Canada's top album, right? Of the year. That's huge, man.
Yeah, it was shortlisted, and the cool thing about the Polaris Prize is it's based on creative merit.
Right.
It's not based on anything else, but
Like digital sales, all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Magazine
so
attention, which
it
you
really-
can buy, right?
yeah. So once you get shortlisted or longlisted, even for that, it's a good
It's an
morale
important-
booster. It's like, okay, I'm doing something right. It's
course.
among our peers.
Yeah.
Like so. Yeah.
Yeah, and they not only that, like Polaris is you can't even submit to it like as an artist. Like you
No, they
have to get nominated
They
by
get
the
nominated.
by the community. That's
Yeah.
huge, dude.
That's awesome.
Yep. And so so from Tribe Called Red, you moved on to become a solo artist. But I knew you before that.
Yeah.
I got you to do some of we talked about the Concert for a Cure that we had on Six Nations, where we bring the Trues and
Yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Lang and all these great artists. But DJ Shub was our
I was there
pretty
a
much
long time ago,
resident-
man. I was there like a
resident
couple
DJ
times.
for,
Yeah.
like, probably I don't know how many shows.
I think I know two for sure.
Two for sure.
Maybe three.
Where
but
we
two.
like did the artist and then you would play and rock the
Yeah.
crowd, and while we set up the next band, man, those are the best.
Yeah,
the
man.
best
Thank you.
times,
Thank you
dude.
for that, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
You gave him my shot,
I
man.
know, right? It was
First one
so
to give my
cool.
shot.
And from there, you actually played at my Buck and Doe too, kind of maybe to
Yeah.
say thanks, I guess, for that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
When I was getting married, we had an amazing Buck and Doe here at the
I was there.
the Yogi's Barn,
Yogi's.
right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Halloween bash.
Yeah, that was aces.
DJ Shub, bad
Yeah.
guys. Oh, what an awesome night. So yeah, that's pretty darn cool, man.
Yeah.
So
We've
but-
come a long way.
I know, right? But after A Tribe Called Red, like what made you feel like separating to kind of, because I know as an artist you do have your own vision, right? And it's hard
Yeah.
to collaborate because there's three people at the time, right?
Yeah.
Bear and Ian, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it came down to just wanting to explore different avenues and not being held back and restricted on things.
Right.
You know, so instead of like things coming down to a vote, I can just do what I want.
Right,
You know?
right.
And so I hooked up with a manager named Alan. He's from out in Manitoba, Alan Gray Eyes, and
Yep.
he called me and he says, it was funny because his exact words were, "Oh, let's make some money, boy."
Oh,
You know, so
yeah.
he knew. He was like, "Okay, well, you know, I can produce still, and I'm you know, being
Yep.
considered. I have to continue this music."
And he's
was
an
the big
industry
thing.
guy too that knows all about
Yeah.
media, knows all about like funding,
Yeah,
great
for
stuff
sure.
like that. Like he's a great guy to
Yeah, to get
not just like indigenous music as a whole, right? He really
Yeah.
pushes it, right?
Yeah, because I really didn't know what to do. I mean,
Yeah.
after I left, you know, I was kind of I almost didn't continue making music, right?
Right.
But then I got hit up by so many people that were like, you know, you need to keep doing this, man.
Oh,
You need to keep
course.
doing this. You know, there can't be just, you know, one
Like
person.
a one and done.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I have a responsibility. I felt like I had a responsibility
Yeah.
to keep
Right.
doing it. So, yeah. And we started out as soon as in 2014, I started working on my own material. And the first song I wrote was Indomitable.
Yep.
So
It's an
after,
amazing song.
after that song, just like 3 or 4 more tracks came to be. I did a track with Classic Roots, who's from
Another
Toronto,
producer
another
from
producer from
Toronto,
Toronto. Yeah, and it turned out, okay, I have like 5 songs. Let's
That's
put them on an
awesome.
EP, you know? So we put together the PowWowStep EP.
Yep.
And yeah, released it, back in 2016, I think.
Right.
And yeah, that was my first solo
Indomitable.
release.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Indomitable, man, that caught on.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get to do the video for it down at the Grand Powwow that Cheese was. Yeah,
That's amazing.
they let me shoot. I brought a whole crew down there to shoot. And we had like drone footage. Yeah, it was awesome shoot.
And they usually don't allow stuff like that, eh?
Yeah,
That's,
I
that's
know,
pretty
yeah,
good. You got
for
pretty
sure.
lucky there, man.
I did, yeah, yeah. So that video ended up getting nominated for an MTV or
Much Music
Much Music,
Video
yeah,
Award.
Much
Yep.
Music Video Award.
MMVA.
yeah. So
That's
I was pretty
amazing,
impressed.
dude.
And
Because
then,
it's not like just an indigenous platform. That's a all across
Yeah,
Canada,
it's-
50
yeah,
million people reach
international.
kind of platform, right?
exactly,
That's
and that's
big,
like
dude.
for to have a voice like that.
That's rattle worthy, dude.
Yeah,
Slow you down because it's all great. We
Yeah,
haven't
man.
gotta give you the big ups.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So-
sorry.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, if I can influence some kid out there that sees that video, you know, that's A1. That's awesome for
it's
me.
empowering, man.
For
What was
sure.
your last video you did at Through the Red Door with the dancers and the elder?
Calling All Dancers. That's a single off of the new album. Yeah, we did that at Through the Red Door.
Right.
Yeah, big
and
ups to-
that's released now? Is it out everywhere now?
Yeah, it was released, I think, a couple months ago.
Oh man.
The single.
Did you see
and-
that video?
I haven't seen the video
It
yet.
is so inspiring because you got the young generation
Yeah.
and all of a sudden this dramatic entrance of the elder comes in and
Yeah.
everyone kind of gives respect, right?
Yeah,
It's- oh,
everybody
how
always
cool is
comments on that part because it's so
It's emotional.
yeah, it is. You know,
It
it's
really
like
is, man.
a lot of people say, "Oh, I just cried when
I
she came
know,
on," you know,
it is, man.
and
The
it's
respect from the young
That's what it's
people.
all about, right?
Yeah.
It's about don't lose that respect for the people.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah,
that
saying
started
like,
this
oh,
whole thing.
I'm younger and faster than you, like which you tend to do when you're that age,
Right.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
To see that kind of respect for the older generation is amazing. I thought that was a great touch in that video, man.
Yeah, no, that was fun times too. It was great.
Yeah.
We had a good time through that.
So the new music, the new album drops
Drops Friday.
this
Awesome.
Friday, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Awesome.
Drops, yeah.
Nice.
Actually, tonight at midnight.
Tonight
So-
at midnight, right
but-
after this show.
Right after the
On
show.
all platforms?
Yeah.
All platforms.
All platforms, yep. Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify. I don't know what else there is.
Everything. There's Deezer,
Amazon.
Amazon,
Friendster.
Yeah.
I might be on Tinder, maybe.
Yeah, might be on Tinder, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
I
OnlyFans.
remember we talked
Yeah.
about
But I got
Yes.
you guys
All right.
Christmas presents.
Awesome.
This is the new album.
I love this.
Yeah,
And you're gonna sign this for us, please.
Yeah,
and thank
man,
you. This
for
is
sure.
amazing.
Yeah, we'll go up, Shub.
yeah. Yo.
And you have how many tracks on here, dude?
I think there's 19.
Wow, that's a lot of content, man.
It's in the inside.
That's
I
just
put it.
some sweet cover art.
Yeah, that cover art is done by Chippewa. His name's Jay. He's
Yeah,
from
okay,
he's from
oh,
familiar.
Toronto.
I've heard of
Familiar
him.
with
He
that.
does cool designs.
I've seen these
Like
posts
political.
at PowWows
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
He does like political cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Too.
yeah. I like his style.
That
He's
is
got,
dope.
but he's been doing my covers for a while. He did my last cover too as well.
Yeah, this is nice.
All right, yeah. So let's talk about this album, dude, because I know
Absolutely.
as an artist, like when I was doing Rainbow World, which I released, and it took me 2 years, like you said.
Congrats on your success too,
Thank
man.
you, man. I appreciate it, man.
Amazing,
It's working.
amazing work.
Yeah, everyone's working, man.
You know what? I've known you for a while, and
Yeah.
you work hard, man. That's the key for like the key
Yeah.
to success is you got to work hard, man. It
Yeah,
just
right.
doesn't come to you. Some people get lucky in it, and I envy them.
I know,
You
because it makes
but
it
it just
little,
comes to them.
you can be a little naive about it,
Yeah.
you know, and me and you, like we've earned our dues, and we respect the music, we respect the game, because I kind of like it that way, that
Yeah.
I didn't get real popular when I was 13 and stuff, which I could have, because I was around like auditioning for like Mickey Mouse Club with like Justin Bieber and all those guys at the time, and you know,
Right.
all these things, and for the Newsboys and all this stuff, and I was just like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't really want all that stuff. I wanted to be a little res guy, you know, and grow and play in the Wolfpack band, and
Right.
you know, do movies and stuff like that. Actually, I just got a movie. I was in a Shania Twain movie called Shania: Life in 8 Chapters, and I did it in 2005.
I remember.
Oh, crazy.
Really?
You played one of her
I
brothers.
played her uncle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
uncle.
Yes,
Oh,
I had
that's
a
where
kind
Uncle.
That's where
originated.
and I looked like Uncle. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I had the denim jacket
Yeah.
and the long hair. It's
The
crazy,
best,
dude.
the
Dead
best
best.
still fits.
Deadly uncle.
Yeah, but I couldn't find it anywhere, and I actually forgot about it. And I found it on Amazon, and it was cost me like $40 to get it in, so I got it. So
Jeez.
pretty cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I know, it's just crazy.
Just I'm always
Music.
just writing music.
That's
yeah.
the same way I am, dude.
And exploring, you know,
Yeah.
just trying different things with the music, and especially with traditional music, you know,
Yeah.
trying to put it into stuff that normally it wouldn't go into.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
know,
real
cool.
creative stuff that
Yeah.
you come up with. Like,
Exactly. You
not
never know.
everybody would think of that, right?
Yeah.
Right, like what you were playing us, like just like everything that comes together, because the contemporary and the traditional, like you said, that's the hardest bridge to gap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot of traditional people who think that indigenous artists should only be doing like powwow drums, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then if you step outside that, you're no longer like doing indigenous music, right?
Mhm.
Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah. There's definitely been some, concern. People have been, especially on my videos that I post, like
Yeah.
calling all dancers. There's some comments of like people who don't think it's right, but I think it's. I don't
Because
think
they
they
want
know.
to keep it at powwow
They,
level, right?
they think they feel, a lot of them feel like they're this is theirs,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
don't want
yeah.
it. They don't want to share, right?
Yeah.
Whereas me, I think that this culture is so beautiful that I don't see why you wouldn't
Yeah,
want to share.
Right.
We're
You know,
supposed to be about sharing.
But
Right.
but there is some stuff that I don't touch. There's some songs like honor songs. There's things that I just don't touch.
That's
and
awesome.
But yeah, I mean it's a beautiful culture. Why not
Right.
share it? You know.
That's so cool, man. Like my album had 8 songs, and I know, but I do all my stuff with a live band, so it takes a little bit more, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
recreating. But like, what's the process for you, like doing an album? Like you said, it took a few years, but
Yeah.
like, what's the process for you?
For this album, it was, like I said, it's been about 2 years in the making. And really what it comes down to is it either comes down 2 ways for me when I'm making it. PowWowStep especially. I'll get a bunch of samples, traditional samples, and I'll hear things, and I'll start that way. I'll start with a traditional sample,
Then you get inspired.
and then get inspired by that, and then add to that.
Crazy.
But some other times I'll start with a crazy beat, start with like a jungle beat or something like that.
Right, like a nice BPM.
Yeah. and speaking about BPMs,
Yeah.
like all the smoke dance songs, the one night, the first smoke dance song, I mixed in smoke dance with like juke, like that's
Oh,
what one of the
nice.
songs is like a fast paced juice, but the BPMs work out perfect,
Oh, that's amazing.
because I think I posted a video on TikTok or one of those ones where there was
I
a
love when that
guy
works
doing
out.
like crazy fast footwork,
Yeah,
but it looked like, a grass dancer, like looked like a smoke dancer.
that's awesome.
So I mean, like the two, you find commonality where you don't usually normally do sometimes,
Right.
and sometimes when it fits, it's like that moment. It's like,
Right. It
whoa,
was meant to
it was
be.
meant to
Meant
be.
to
Like,
be.
how did this, like that's the thing. It's like I feel like it's a gift from the creator, and it comes together.
Right.
Like how else could that come together?
Right.
It wasn't meant to be. You know?
I
So
know
it's
exactly
crazy.
what you mean. Like on my album, there was a song called "Without Love" that I did with Adrian Harjo. He came in and did some singing and drumming for me in Jacasa where I was recording. But the song was written by Salome Bay, and like he came in and told me like, Jace, like the song is called "Without Love," but he came in and he was like, Jace, like this beat, you know, like it's usually reserved for like a love song,
Yeah.
right? So and I was like, man, that's kind of just blows my mind because like Salome didn't know that, right? And like,
Yeah.
and the music, like you were saying, when it connects like that, I think it all starts from that heartbeat of like Mother Earth, right? That
Yeah.
drum, doom, doom, doom.
Oh, yeah.
So like if all music's built on that heartbeat,
Yeah.
it's gonna match up and connect,
Yeah.
and, you know, at those
Absolutely.
beautiful things like that, right?
Totally.
It's crazy. Harv?
Very rhythmic stuff you're talking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know all about it. You've been in the
Well, I
business.
used to be in the
Oh,
business
yeah,
a little
man.
bit
Yep.
with Churez, but
Yeah.
it was mostly just rapping and keeping the beat.
But you guys were the pioneers, man,
Yeah,
for
right.
when it comes to
Yeah.
hip hop. I mean, like
I
there's
remember,
a
like,
handful
Yeah.
when it comes
Yeah,
to that,
like
and
my
you
mom
guys are
and
one of
your
them.
mom were talking a long time ago,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Hey, my son's a DJ." And then my mom's like, "Well, my son's in a rap group."
Right.
We're like, we should have got together back then. And
Right.
who
And then
knows
at
where
that
we would've
time,
been
Tim
now.
Tim
Hey, man.
Hill was sitting there watching us when we were recording and writing,
Yeah.
Right.
and learning from Johnny Jeeks.
Yeah.
And now look where he is.
Yeah,
You know, like and
exactly.
it was because we were sharing, right? We
Yeah.
weren't closing. Remember, we didn't close the doors. Like
No,
anybody that
no.
wanted to come in, I remember there was lots of people
There
around
was
us
a
when
whole
we were recording,
crew of people around us. At
especially when
one
we did
time.
our shows.
Yeah.
We'd be doing our shows. There's already enough of us, but we'd have like literally 30 people all squeezed in our dressing room, right?
Those are the good times, man.
I
You know, those are the
right?
times
that
that.
was our entourage.
Yeah.
Our clique.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Those are the good times, man.
Yeah. And the video, we're talking to Jennifer Podemsky soon. She directed one of the True Res crew
Yeah,
videos.
she shot the Lucky One video.
Lucky
Her
One video.
Big
Oh, nice.
Soul Productions. I
Big
believe
Soul.
It was, yeah.
Yep, that's awesome.
Big Soul, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really good conversation too, man.
Mhm.
So
Awesome.
is there anything you'd like to let people know about this album? Like what excites you about this album? Like,
Yeah.
because we can't perform it right now, but you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
play live
Yeah,
shows and stuff at
promotion.
home, right?
Yeah.
Promotion wise, how you want to get it out there?
Well, if you guys want to tune in tomorrow to my Instagram,
Yep.
I'm going to go track by track on Instagram and talk with all the collaborators on the album, just to kind of give the people a chance to kind of chime into and ask some questions about
Yep.
the album.
And what time's that at?
That's going to start at 6 o'clock.
So it'd be on at the same time as, or before the show even.
Friday, right?
Oh, Friday
Friday.
at 6.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Friday at 6, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And they can talk to you and
They
it's
can
all
come on and,
interactive?
and be nice. Don't
Yeah, be nice. No, you got no choice.
don't
but
ask
to
some
be nice,
crazy
dude.
crazy questions.
I just really appreciate live music. We were talking a little bit earlier, you know, like a guitarist and stuff and vocalist. Sometimes it mesmerizes people because they're like, how do you remember all those intonations and all those words or all those things? And it's not just for one song; it's for a whole 2-3 hour show. Sometimes,
Yeah,
right? Like
no
that.
doubt. Yeah.
And for me, like you're the same way with what you do. You're just as that skill that it takes left and right. It's just like a guitarist too, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's an instrument, right? The turntable is an instrument. That's the way I see it, anyways.
and you play
Yeah.
it live. You don't just hit record and stand there and bounce around for us.
Yeah.
You know, like that's sort of like it's insane. If somebody doesn't see that skill is like that's some elite stuff, dude,
Right.
man. You know what I mean?
It's well, I mean,
That's
like
what
it's
I've always appreciated about the scratching too. You make
Yeah.
it fun, right, and engaging.
yeah, it's just like any other instrument. You
Yeah.
know, like you play long enough. You know, you play the guitar long enough.
It just
Yeah.
You can
becomes
just
an
you don't even have to, you don't
10,000
even have to
hours,
look,
right?
You know, you don't even have to look. You just do it,
Right.
right? And like you said, it becomes an extension of you. Without you're not playing it; it's playing you,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, and that's how scratching was. Like before, when I started, I couldn't scratch for nothing, and I'd always be looking at the
Wow.
record. Now it's like I can just.
And when did you start?
I started in 2001.
Wow.
wow.
It's almost
Yeah.
20 years now.
20 years,
Wow,
yeah. So
man.
you put your work in, right?
That's
Like,
the work, dude.
so I mean, a lot of DJs now, they don't put that work in.
Yeah.
You know, they just like get their setup and start right away and
Try to get a hit song and then just write
yeah,
that
and
song, right?
they forget about the patience you need and the time you need to put into that art, because
Right.
a lot of the time it's sacrifice, right? You have to
Right.
sacrifice time,
Yep.
you know, for your art you love doing.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
whatever it is, whatever it may be. Like with you and your band, you got to
Yep.
sacrifice time away from
100%.
everything. You know, like for me, it was like I sacrificed a lot of time. You know, for those first when I was with Tribe, and because we toured 9 months out of the year.
Constantly.
You
Yeah, it
know,
was
so
amazing.
you end up sacrificing time with your family, which sucks, you know.
Mhm.
But now I know. Now I'm my own boss. Now
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
now I can,
Say
which is
no.
great. Now I can say no to
Or bring your
whatever I
family
want
with you.
And exactly, yeah, for sure. Make it a family affair. And speaking of that, like this whole album,
Yeah.
my whole family's on it. Like my son, my daughter, she opens up she's in the intro,
beautiful.
you know, and then my wife, she raps and she's
That's
on
so
one
cool.
of the tracks. Yeah. So, and that's funny. That's
That's
how
awesome,
I
man.
met my wife was,
Really?
she knew I did hip hop. She came over and she's spitting and I'm sitting here like, ooh,
That is
who's
dope.
this? Hey, you into me?
That's awesome,
So
man.
that's how we, you know, like we
Cool.
came together through music. So this whole, and then my son, he's on the intermission, you know, and,
Yep.
and then I scratch my own vocals into a song. So it's a family affair.
I remember your
you know?
son used to come to the concerts and
Ye-
dance with you.
oh
sometimes,
yeah,
too. He
Heck,
loves your music,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Like where does the music for you? Like, where do you think the music, the creativity comes from? You have a theory on that? Because a lot of people don't know what it
comes
takes
fr-
to write, man.
Inspiration comes from everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's right in front of you. You don't even know it. You know, sometimes it's your family. For me personally, this whole album was my family
Right.
for sure. That inspired
Like
me.
write what you know.
Yep, yep.
Cool.
And then the whole quarantine thing and being together, you know,
Right.
that it had its pros and cons. And I think the pro was you really got in touch with your family like I never did before.
Right.
You know, so and that reflects,
Yeah.
on the music and that reflects on how I am, how my personality is now.
Right.
You know, like COVID sucks, but
yeah, it does.
You
But you
know?
gotta learn and grow still, right?
Yeah.
Because if we would just whine and sit in the corner for 8 months, we're gonna come out fat and
that's
not
bad.
as motivated,
and,
you know?
and depressed, you know,
Yeah,
and
depressed.
it's bad. It could get to you, you know,
and then
like
that depression could leak into your music.
Exactly.
You know, that negativity, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Try to bringing positive things to
Yeah.
all that.
But I just mentioned that because it's crazy for me. I don't even know when a song is gonna, like, literally. I see that I have a new exercise bike over there in the corner.
Yeah.
Been looking for one on. I found one, and you don't know when it's coming. I'm driving to Cambridge to go pick it up, and boom, this song, like, literally in my head, just right out the head, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So when that happens, I always grab my phone, put my recorder on, and I'm driving. Usually it's just like a 5-minute idea, 10-second idea, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But this one, I sang for the whole 3 minutes, how I wanted it, like the start and then everything right to the end.
Yeah.
I mimicked the solos and everything just because I was feeling the groove. And I wrote a whole 3-minute song because I'm working on a new country rock album with my guitarist Greg Keys from Nashville. It's going to be a project called Martin and Keys down the road.
Nice.
Like, but this will be our 3rd song we wrote. But literally, I wasn't trying to write, dude.
Yeah.
I literally was happy at doing my family thing, right?
That happens, man.
Yeah,
It's
isn't that
happened.
crazy?
It's happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
You know, like
Like, where does that come from? That's
yeah.
crazy, right? It's
I'm
in
telling
there,
you,
but
it's
it
it's
wrote
a whole
itself
other
literally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we are the music makers, right?
Yeah.
And so the music comes to us,
Right.
You know, and it's our job to get it down.
I know, and right,
Yeah.
and I
So,
believe
you know,
not
right.
only get it out, but try to do it the justice, like do it right too.
Yeah.
You know, like I really respect the game, and I know you really respect music. Like that's
Yeah.
probably the part of the reason why I believe my music just keeps trying to get more and more like elite and big because I'm trying to get on the same level. Like whereas like if they called me and said, Jace, we want you to do the Grammys tonight with Johnny Lang and John Mayer
Mhm.
and John Legend, that I wouldn't go up there and embarrass myself. I'd be ready to go. I'd say, hell yeah, let's
Yeah.
go, you know.
Yeah.
Or even if they called me and said, John Legend wants to write with you, I'd have no qualms with saying, let's go and
Yeah.
write something, you know.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you would do the same thing. You collab with a lot of people, even on this
Yeah.
album,
Has some
right?
pretty big names on this
Yeah,
album.
let's talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
Yeah, I think the one name that stands out, a couple names stand out.
There's a lot of them. Yeah.
Randy Bachman.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
a Canadian icon.
Yeah, that's
right.
crazy,
So the
dude.
first time I met him was at a Buffy Sainte Marie show. So Buffy Sainte Marie, me and her, good
Who's
friends.
a legend, of
Who
course.
is
Yeah.
amazing person. I don't know if you guys met her. She's
right?
so
Yeah,
cool.
oh yeah.
So she invited me out to do a show with her in Ottawa, and it was kind of like a Buffy Sainte Marie and Friends show. And at that show, Randy Bachman was there.
Nice.
So I went up to him and I gave him a handshake and I says, "Hey, what's going on? I'm DJ Shub, you know." And he's like, "Oh, I've heard of you. I love your stuff." Right? I'm like, "What?
Oh, wow.
Wow, you're the coolest guy ever, man." I was like, "That's crazy." So I met him there that was a while ago, probably in 2012 or no, sorry, 2018, I guess.
Yeah.
So fast forward, we're working on the album. Randy's people get a hold of my people, and he wrote this song, and it was about bullet control. And he wanted to, and it was just when this whole thing started coming where there was some shootings and like crazy stuff. So he wrote this song called Bullets, and he wrote it 30 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So he wrote this song 30 years ago. He sent it to me and was like, "Hey, Shub, is there anything you think you could do to this?" And I'm like, I didn't care what it was. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, cool, man. So I just added some drums and some keyboard and just kind of made it into more of like a hip hop sounding beat. And it's funny too, because somebody was doing an interview with me. Actually, I was doing an interview with Apple Music, and they said, "So I hear you have Randy Bachman's rap debut on your album."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "Yeah,
That's
man." I was
super cool,
like,
man.
"It's like because he goes by he was gonna go by the alias Toast, and he was gonna release that song under a different alias, right?"
Wow.
And we were just like, "Randy, you gotta. This is awesome, man. You should just use your name. And this is great.
cool,
this is
man.
awesome stuff." So he ended up, just putting his name
Because
and
everyone
goes on.
now there's no rules no more, right? Justin Bieber is getting nominated for country stuff with and the rapping like Miley Cyrus's dad was doing big stuff with the rappers, and it's like everyone's doing everything now, and I love that about music. Like I've never wanted to put an artist in a box. I was like, even for myself, like I do blues. I've done blues albums, I've done rock albums. I did a pop albums now, and then the album Rainbow World I just did is an R&B album. So it's like I'm always challenging myself, to push myself.
Yeah, you got to think outside that box. Think outside the box.
Stay versatile.
Yeah. And I would always wonder, like, what would MJ sound like if he did a country album? You know what I mean? Or
MJ, you'd have some sort of trap country album right now. Yeah.
He would, right?
There's only two kinds of
He'd
music.
be singing with Taylor Swift.
There's only two kinds: good music and bad music.
That's
man.
it. I love that quote, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I
and it
feel.
just seems like no matter if the artist is a true artist, they get together, it's just something popping.
Yeah, for sure.
Something popping.
Yeah, we jammed with Buffy St. Maria Through the Red Door.
Yeah.
And she was like,
she brought a program.
She brought a program, and we just jammed, and it was funny. You get together those artists, and just magic starts to happen. We just started clicking, and it was just
connected,
like, whoa,
right?
Yeah.
No egos, That's amazing stuff, dude.
Yeah,
that
awesome.
collaboration process.
Yeah, a lot of talent in the indigenous community. So
there is, man, especially from this area.
Especially like in the Six Nations, there's like no lack.
Who are some of your favorite indigenous artists? Buffy, obviously.
Yeah, Buffy for sure. Derek Miller.
Of course.
Huge fan of him.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like I remember my uncle Sam Martin.
Yeah.
He was the first guy down here to put out a record, an actual vinyl.
Awesome.
A vinyl record. Yeah.
Cool.
And I remember to this day when I was little, I would always get the record, and my grandma had it, and I would always look at it and play it all the time. I played.
Blow your mind that it's.
I scratched the hell out of it. I'm sorry, but but I was just. It was just cool to know that like my family was on this record.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So maybe that started with a little bit of inspiration.
That totally started. And I may have not known it, knew it at the time, but subconsciously that stuff. That's just all.
That's what I remember when I was in Toronto. I would stay with Salome Bay, who I dedicated my new album to, for 3 or 4 summers, and I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, right?
Yeah.
But I remember she made a little space for me in the basement, little pull-out couch, and a record player.
Yeah.
And it had a Jackson 5 record, just one Jackson 5 record.
Oh.
And I would listen to that Jackson 5 record, and like you said,
you
didn't realize the impact it was doing on you, but that with working with Divine Brown and Deborah Cox and all these huge stars who they go on to blow up after that, but it just sticks with you and inspires you. And that's part of the reason why I did Rainbow World all these years later, because I was like, man, I want to get that feeling back. You know what I mean? Like my roots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think we had a great chat, dude.
Man.
And I'm so excited that your album's out. I think Helen Back's on it.
Helen Back is on it, man. Yeah, Helen Back is on. He's on a couple songs, actually. He's on 2.
He works with Darren Ross Agency.
Yeah.
I seen the one he did with you. It's on the countdown right now, is it not?
It was up there, but then it went went back down again.
know, when
It was almost there. It was
when
like
it falls,
third.
it falls fast,
quick,
eh?
man.
Like
I was like,
20
oh man, we were like, I thought we were going number 1. We were at like
Right.
3 and sitting, and the
Yeah.
next week I'm at like 28.
I know,
I'm like,
it falls
geez,
fast on that thing. It's hard,
so
dude.
it's hard, man.
I know.
Number 28 in the charts, but you're still number 1 in
In
our
our
hearts.
hearts.
Hey,
There you go,
man.
brother.
That's the way
But
it
yeah,
is.
I just love it. I encourage everyone to check out the album. I mean, we've listened to a few that you released, like the one you said, "Calling All Dancers" is an
Yeah.
amazing song. Go check out that video.
Yeah.
And make sure you get streams. Get the Spotify going. Make sure you
Apple
buy this
Music,
album.
Buy this up. Support our
Because it's
artists. Yeah.
exciting what Indigenous people can do. We've seen it. Like I released, I co-wrote and produced a song for Dan Rose Moore, and we released it, and she hit number 1 on the R&B iTunes charts in Canada, right? So like people can make that happen. Indigenous people just by supporting each other.
Yep.
And it just means streaming, liking, sharing, all that cool stuff. You know, the views.
Yeah.
And 99
It's
cents
just
on
helping
iTunes.
a brother out.
Yeah.
You know
And
that.
what will
Right.
the album be on iTunes, do you think?
Yeah, it'll be on iTunes.
Yep. So
Yeah.
download that. Oh, all that cool
You
stuff.
can actually pre-order it right now if you want, and it'll just automatically get downloaded to your phone when
See
it.
that? Then you won't even know.
Thursday night.
No
Yeah.
muss, no fuss.
No
I think
must.
I got a little bit of Apple money on there.
There you go.
That's my
And get those
house.
iTunes cards for Christmas, right?
Hey,
Get
there
this,
you go.
Get
That's
this
the-
album. Make sure you check it out.
And I
DJ
got
Shub.
merch. I got merch on my
Website?
website. If you go to djshub.ca.com.
.com because
Nope.
it's Canada, baby.
Yeah,
.ca.
it's .ca. So yeah, if you want to go there, you can get the album. You can get some
Some merch.
if you want.
Cool, man.
For the holidays.
I appreciate you dropping these off. We'll
Yeah.
probably add this to our wall of fame back there, but we'll listen to this definitely. And
Aces.
we really appreciate you coming, dude.
Hey,
like,
man.
what a
Yeah,
treat.
go
What
I'm
a
a,
treat,
I'm a
man.
huge fan of the show,
Thank
and I
you.
thank you for having me on for
All
sure,
right.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks, DJ
Yeah.
Shub.
Get you back in the future for
We
sure.
definitely
Shub.
will,
I'm
man.
in. I'm in.
DJ Shub was in the house
Can you believe that?
on the 1s and 2s.
He's one of the most sought after artists, like, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
He was touring like mad, dude.
like North America, like worldly.
yeah. He's a
Worldly.
sought after artist. And
Yeah.
to get him on the show
That's so cool.
was so cool.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to get him on the show, but
We're leveling up.
leveling up. That's
Yes.
right. And the fact that he wanted to be here to help, get the word out about his new album. That's
Right.
cool, man.
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah,
proud to support.
everybody should be out there supporting
Yeah.
him too, because he's a great artist.
and we're
he's a
proud
good
to
person.
support not only DJ Shub, but
Yeah.
any other artist.
any
on-
indigenous
out to
artists, anybody from our community, especially.
especially.
You know,
we'd
'cause
love to
we have
talk
a
with you.
Great community,
Send us-
talent wise,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like we talked with Derek Miller,
right?
the people that we've had on has just been crazy. Cam and Cody, like
Right.
it's mind blowing, dude.
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah,
we
we're
got
just
so
getting
many
started.
other people that we haven't
There's
even
so many great
haven't
people.
even knocked on their door yet.
Yeah, and the more we grow, the more the word of mouth will get out there, and more we can say, hey, come on
Yeah,
the show.
come talk with us.
Come
have a chat.
Come have a chat with us.
Yeah.
And the best thing about it is we have a new intro by DJ
Oh,
Shub. It's blowing my
and
mind.
it's wicked wild.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's the coolest thing, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that.
Did you watch the Mike Tyson fight, man?
Did I ever watch the Mike Tyson? I think that was like some of the
Just
best.
look offended. Isn't it?
The best $50 I spent this
I
year
know,
in
right?
2020.
I know. It was like it didn't even hurt.
Yeah, because my
Um,
wife was like, "You sure you want to buy that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Mike Tyson, man.
know,
It's
right?
gonna be a like, for lack of a better word, this is gonna be a shit show, and I need to see
I
this."
need to- you need to see it because I bet you people are really kicking themselves in the butt for not watching it because then they have to wake up in the morning and hear that it was a circus.
It was a spectacular show, like
was-
Snoop Dogg's
it was a
performance.
spectacular show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg he's commentating.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. French Montana.
French Montana did a good show. YG
Yep.
was great.
Amazing.
All the musical performers were pretty good.
And you got to watch
And
a
the
little-
fights
the
were,
fights were
like
great.
they were fights.
They were good fights.
They weren't hugging. They weren't dancing around. There were 8 rounds of like get at her.
They
That
fought,
was great boxing.
They fought like they were fighting for their lives. All of them did.
Right? They knew there was a lot of people watching. I think
Yeah.
so. They put on a show.
That was literally the biggest boxing card that I can remember since McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
right.
Right? That was huge.
Yeah.
Those guys made a little bit more money, right? 100, 200
Oh
million
yeah.
dollars.
McGregor and Mayweather. made some
maybe
coin,
300
yeah.
million each.
Like
And-
Tyson walked away with 10 million, as
Yep.
far as I heard.
and Roy only
They
a
got-
million, but
yeah.
that's a lot of
Still,
money.
Yeah.
At 54 to be still making $10 million.
Right. And he's gonna be back,
Yeah.
like in this League of Legends
Oh, yeah.
boxing. He says he's going to be back and he's going to fight again.
Right. He just likes doing these exhibitions, he said, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't want to fight for titles anymore. He just wants to
No.
raise money for charity.
Right.
Right. So there's a lot of people. Evander Holyfield, for one, would
And he was pondering coming back. I
Right.
could see him and Tyson maybe doing it up again.
right. And then one of the side shows, and some would say stole the show, was the Jake Paul and
Ooh.
Nate Robinson fight. That was kind of the co-main event, they called it, right?
Yeah. Before
It was
that, I
insane.
was like, "Who the hell is Jake Paul?"
I know. I had to
Because
Google him.
yeah, it was like,
I
and
knew
like
he
all
was-
these young, like my kids.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a YouTuber.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I should know all this stuff.
Influencer.
Yeah, he's an influencer. I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is.
Right.
So I know who Nate Robinson was because
Right.
like from the NBA, the slam dunk
New York
competition.
Knicks. Yeah, he won
New
3
York
times.
Knicks, yeah.
Yep.
And he was a decent basketball player.
Of course.
Maybe not awesome, but he played in the pros.
And
He
you
played
know
in
he
the
had to
NBA.
train and practice.
Yeah,
right?
he was an athlete, so I thought, well, he should fare pretty decently.
yeah.
Not at all.
The memes that are going on, man, is insane. If you don't know,
The NBA one where he's like laying down, it says "Never box again."
I like the meme where at the end of the fight they were talking the picture of Tyson and Roy Jones, but then he was still laying in the background over there. He was
Oh,
still,
and
he was
Nate's still
yeah,
here.
Nate's still laying out in the
Yeah.
back. That whole fight.
And there's several. I seen one of Beetlejuice, like the Howard Stern Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
This is the guy who trained Nate Robinson.
And it was trending wildly was the hashtag Nate Robinson challenge where everyone was posting pictures of themselves. Like
Right?
absolutely
Sleep.
sleep, dude. It was crazy. The internet went off. LeBron, Steph Curry.
Yeah, Snoop was having a heyday with it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like even but people took it a little bit got offended by it a little bit, like Evander Kane from the Sharks. Did you hear Evander Kane was
Yeah, I heard also Ryan Reeves
really
challenged
Awesome.
this Jake Paul.
Right.
He's like he can get some of this smoke.
Right. And then James Johnson from the NBA, he's 7-0 in MMA,
Mhm.
20-0 in kickboxing. He challenged him too. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
The people that were lining up to fight Jake Paul now, a
Right.
YouTuber.
Well, he looked like
He
he was
looked
kind of
pretty
legit,
good.
though. Yeah, he looked legit, and I guess he was training for a year. He's calling out Conor McGregor.
I know what's up with
Like
that.
so,
I think he should go through James Johnson or Ryan Reeves or
I
something like
think
that
he should
first,
build
right?
his name up before he goes at Conor because
Him and Evander Kane would be nuts, dude. Evander's
he's a tough
his
kid.
dad is a boxer, so he grew up around boxing and everything.
Yeah,
So
and he's a tough fighter.
dude.
Yeah,
Man, that'd be cool if he fought all of them.
that would.
Yep.
Like Ryan Reeves is a mean man.
man.
too.
He's a mean man.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
But
So
yeah, I think that was the best $50 I spent in a
Yeah.
long time.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't keep my eyes off it, and I was just so excited to see Tyson wasn't just messing around and laying on the ropes. You know, like
Yeah,
he was striking that dude, man.
he
And
was doing his whole
yep.
whole routine like he used to do back in the day.
Yeah, and then the Roy Jones Jr. when the interview after it seemed like Roy was holding his ribs the
Yeah.
whole interview. He's kind of like even kind of crouched, you know, and
Yeah, he took some body shots.
yeah, and then Tyson was just like,
He's like, I respect you.
I know,
respect you.
You took it.
it.
You took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about Roy Jones Jr.'s health and training and stuff, and Tyson's like takes the mic back. It's
Yeah.
like, what was everyone
Yeah,
worried
what-
about him?
Right.
I've been fought in 15 years. He totally loves the spotlight on him, man.
Right.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
That was
It was great.
it was great to
I
step.
can't wait for another
Yeah,
League of Legends
Yeah.
promotion.
it was great to step back in time, you know, and
Right.
get to see Tyson
And
again.
if they can mix in the music like that again, that was
Amazing.
great. It was
Yeah.
a great production overall.
Super cool. Yep. So bad news, like some sad news on the res right now too, eh?
Yes,
Some
very
craziness.
tragic.
Very tragic.
Tragic news.
Stuff that took place on Six Nations that involved shooting that
Yeah.
cost
a young man's life.
A young man's life. Yeah. But, it's sad. It's a sad day on Six Nations. You could feel it on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, it's blowing up on social media, and so
And
like my
It's kind of like
my
crazy.
heart and strength go out to the community right now.
Yeah.
Like last week, I lost an uncle and a cousin, and my
Right.
family passed away.
Wow.
So
It's
like
just
a-
like
some
ooh.
heavy hearts in the
Yeah, it
community
seems like
right
the community
now.
is a little bit heavy right now, and we just want to say that man, we were so sad for that too, and rest in
Yeah.
peace,
Yeah,
to Andrew.
Andrew
Yeah,
Davis.
so there's some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
my condolences to his family
yeah,
and friends.
yeah, that's crazy. But did you hear too in Toronto? There's some craziness too about a restaurant guy who has a barbecue place.
Adam's Barbecue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Adam's.
like he's like kind of like a hero to some and kind of a jerk to some others.
Yeah, there's a lockdown in Toronto, right? And he
Yeah.
said, "Screw this," and he opened these and it packed, man. People were packed there, right?
Yeah,
And
like he broke right through the drywall.
but they got. I was gonna
to
say
get in there, right?
the police came there and they changed these locks.
Yeah.
Like the health commissioner or whatever, health inspector, and then like you said, he smashes through the
Yeah.
brick walls. He has to break into his own restaurant, And
Right.
like you said, some are hailing him a hero, but some are saying like you're causing COVID to be here longer. You know what I mean?
Like
So you can-
there's so many people like different views, right?
Because there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people going to there getting food from him every day, and they're all not wearing masks, and they're like protesting with like
the anti-maskers,
anti-mask
right?
stuff too, which probably doesn't coincide with what the restaurant owner's trying to do. He says he's trying to just like rally the people to say screw these lockdowns and let's get back to
For
normal.
small businesses.
Yeah, let's get back to normal. And I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see what becomes of it. He got arrested and released on $50,000 bail. His
Right.
fines are reaching like $500,000.
His GoFundMe page is hitting
$500,000.
pretty nicely. I
Well, maybe
see.
that'll pay all
so
that.
that's gonna pay his legal funds and legal fees that he's gonna incur through all this.
Kind of crazy, dude. Yeah, but some cool new inventions are coming out of the COVID virus. A man in Egypt has invented a robot that can test for the coronavirus to limit the human contact. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's good.
That's
Then,
smart, eh?
Yeah, then that's less people that have to
Yeah,
interact with one another, and hopefully they just sanitize the robot on a regular.
that's it. Or maybe that
Somehow.
room releases like a spray that
Right.
sanitizes that robot when you leave. Or they said that the temperature has to be above 80 degrees or something, so maybe you can heat the room up to kill all the viruses in between.
True.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I think that's really cool that people are thinking outside the box like that, because my sister's a nurse, right? And
Mhm.
that kind of scares me because they're literally on the front lines. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it'd be cool if that robot can do some cool stuff for.
I just read a friend of mine. He works at Toyota,
Okay.
and they hired their own doctors for the plant,
Yep.
so they can do on-site testing and have your test back in 2 hours.
That's awesome.
And you can get right like back to work
That's great.
either that day or instead
Right.
of waiting the 2-3 days.
So they're really just kind of preventing any kind of outbreak. Like that
Yeah.
kind of
yeah, so they're
due
bringing in
diligence.
the company's bringing in their own doctors. So.
Yeah, that's what they need to do, man.
Yeah.
That's what everyone needs to do. They start thinking outside the box like that. The federal government has introduced a bill that would allow single game betting in Canada. Finally,
About time.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, because usually you got to pick like 3 different games and
Yep. Or 6 or 10 or 12.
6 or 10, and and then it's damn near impossible to
I
hit.
know, right?
Like I'm not a big bettor
Yeah.
on Pro Line or anything, but I understand the.
I know a lot of
The
people down
game.
here are, man.
Oh, they
They're
are.
crazy about the pro line, man.
Yeah.
Especially the football, right?
Football Pro Line, hockey
Yep.
Pro Line, there's baseball,
And they're trying to pick
basketball.
12 winners out of, the whole night's thing.
Right.
Yeah, they're
I used to play like a NFL football pool or a hockey pool where
Yeah.
you'd pick the winners that
Try and
night
pick-
and then pick the amount of goals scored.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
week.
exactly.
And that was fun. but
Yeah, they're hard too, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know. It's
be able to make some money now, maybe.
They said that $550 million is spent on gambling per year that will be able to be like taxed and stuff like that. So that's cool. I always wondered why the hell I couldn't bet on just a Raptors game or just a Leafs game. You know
I
what
would
I mean?
never bet on just the Leafs because, like, if
I know, right?
if I bet they win,
They're
don't.
gonna lose.
And if I bet they don't win,
There's
do.
a lot of people like that,
so
man.
I'm like, I won't bet on the
They're-
Leafs.
they say, and even me sometimes, like they're winning 3-1, and then I watch, and then they start losing, and come on, man.
Yeah,
If you're one of those people, you gotta force it and not watch.
right.
Let's
Like
be-
I got some playoff socks I wear.
Yeah, we
They're
gotta
like
be
Leaf
superstitious,
socks, yeah.
man. We have to be superstitious for the
Right.
Leafs because we got the Raptors to win, the Jays to win in our lifetime
Yeah.
twice.
Seeing the soccer team is phenomenal.
FC, the Argos,
Yeah.
everyone's winning, but
Toronto Rock won a
Toronto
couple
Rock's
titles.
winning with Kimbo Squire,
Yeah,
Moose Squire.
Right.
Black Friday sales in Canada will reach an all-time high, according to reports that will surpass $10 billion in sales.
That's terrible.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like the materialism of Christmas is
It's
nonsense.
nuts. It's crazy, dude. And it's right at a time where everyone's they said that like 63% of couples are like fighting about money right now
I believe it. I 100% believe it. Like
because it's a stressful time, right?
it really is.
Money's tight. You can't really expand your territory. You really have to just work from home, right?
right.
It's crazy.
Especially with all these lockdowns, shutdowns, restrictions. And
But
so
you know that 10 billion, a lot of it's on the credit card, dude, because it's a lot
I
easier.
guarantee you a lot of that is
It's a
online
lot.
shopping. Amazon's laughing.
And then maybe half of that is going to get returned tomorrow, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the impulse buying. But that's what they do on Cyber Monday and Black Friday. There's no returns because they're special prices. So
Right,
that's
so-
kind of how they get you.
Yep.
Isn't that nuts?
They know what they're doing. Though.
They know what they're
They're a
doing,
big money
man.
making
They're
machine.
going to say, if you want this TV for $200 off, you're gonna, no refunds.
right.
Or come tomorrow and it's 200
And
bucks
yeah,
more.
it's
And you can
500
bring it back
bucks.
whenever
Yep.
you want. Crazy. I don't know, man. And Christmas is coming up.
So fast.
Yep.
Like it's December.
It's
Third.
December already, man. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
We got to start getting our harvest stuff out and get some Christmas stuff going.
Yeah.
Got some cool stuff going on here. I noticed you got some new stuff too.
Yeah. I
Yes.
brought in a few things myself.
Yes. What do you got, man?
I got
Some
my
trophies?
skunk trophy.
Yes.
Because I'm the most honest.
Yes. I'm the
Uh,
most honest.
Yeah. The second one is my closest to the pin because I was the best as well that day.
Yes.
And
And golf.
in golf, yes.
Yep.
The snowman was made by my granddaughter,
Beautiful.
so that'll
That's
add
our
some
first Christmas thing.
festive stuff for Christmas. Maybe it
Awesome.
can make it to the desk
we'll
next
make it-
week.
yeah, definitely.
And then
I love the little war chief there.
the
with
war
the
chief
long
guy, yeah,
headdress.
it's just something really cool
Real
that I
stoic,
found.
dude.
Yeah, it's almost like a
Oh,
native Oscar.
so that's a native Harv.
Yeah.
Oh.
My Academy Award. I'd just like to thank the Academy for that one.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So now it's not so Christian. It's not
Yeah.
so
Well,
leaned
see,
out.
I was part of a couple of those True Res awards, and I don't know what happened to them. Maybe I, could try to
that would be cool.
find them somewhere and
Get
get
the
them put
True
up
Res
there.
one. Yeah, I have another award too, but I need to glue it up. But look at, we got DJ Shub up there now. He signed those for us. That's really cool. That's really darn cool,
Got the
dude.
Dalby book signed.
Delby book sign. We're really cooking now,
Yeah,
dude.
Heck, that's ace.
Talk Around Toronto also is that the Rogers Center or Sky Dome, whatever you call it, is getting like talked about being demolished, dude.
Crazy.
Isn't that
Like
nuts?
that is crazy because
You know,
it's
we're
not that
connected
old
to,
of a building.
yeah,
and yeah,
30 years old.
Yeah.
And
And-
we're connected to it, Six Nations people,
Right.
Indigenous people, right? Because
Right.
of the powwows and
The
stuff.
powwows and like I actually
The
performed
music
there with
awards.
True Res
Yep.
at one
Right? The
point.
Camo Awards, they were called, the Canadian Aboriginal Music
yep.
Awards. Yep. They were huge.
I've been to several Jays games there. I
Yep.
seen like the Red Hot
Concerts.
Chili Peppers
Yeah.
there, and like
But you remember that powwow, though? It was packed. There's like 100,000
Yeah.
people there, dude.
it was probably the best powwow in
Yeah.
Canada at the
I
time.
don't even know.
thought.
It ended because the people that were running in that
I think
festival, they got a
the organizers got
a little bit too old to do it,
Something happened,
retired, right?
yeah.
And nobody picked
nobody
up that.
picked up where they left off.
Yeah, and it kind of they picked up in Winnipeg with the Indigenous Music Awards and Manitowoc and all
because
that
it kind of
stuff.
moved from Toronto to Hamilton,
Yeah,
from the Sky Dome, and then they moved it to Hamilton.
You're
and
right.
Then it just
then it
kinda
just dissipated. Yep, crazy.
But yeah, it's too bad. Like I hope they don't tear it down because
Yep.
it's still a pretty decent building, I would think.
They're thinking about tearing it down, putting up high rises, and moving to make not a dome part, but like
An
a
open
park
baseball
like
field.
the Orioles. They I
Yeah.
guess Camden Yards is the new benchmark for baseball field. So an
Mhm.
open one that's not covered. That'd be cool with real grass for
Yeah.
once, because we're on the turf, right?
Right.
And that's why a lot of free agents don't come to the Jays, is because the turf, you can get injured on it a lot easier than
Oh,
grass,
yeah.
I guess, because it doesn't give like regular mud and grass does,
Right.
right? Like once it grabs you and
And plus, there's no weather delays ever at the Sky Dome either, right?
yeah, that's why I like the dome,
That's
right?
the one.
Sitting in the
aspect
rain
of
and
liking
aspect,
it.
yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is, man.
Ooh,
Abel McConan Tesfaye,
the weekend.
also known as The Weeknd,
Yes.
is upset at the Grammys
for being shunned.
for being shunned when he had like one of the top songs and albums
Blinding Lights
of the year. The album was called After Hours.
Yeah,
But Blinding Lights stayed on the charts #1
it's a great song.
for like 70 weeks, or it can't be 70 weeks, but 40 weeks or something,
Yeah,
right?
That was
It's
a great
crazy.
song. The moment I heard it, I was like, "Yep."
And it
there
was
he
on
is.
it was on the charts #1 in Canada for the whole time except for a few days where Deanne Rosemore bumped him out for a few days
nice.
in Canada. Isn't that cool?
Nice.
That song, man, that had 60 million streams or whatever, 600 million streams, right?
That's some great exposure.
But he was upset, responding on social media saying the Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me and my fans and the industry transparency. And that's kind of crazy, eh? That people are talking a little bit about the Grammys. Like, why is everyone whining about the awards show? You know that's how they are. Like, everyone, they're like, give out
the awards are always kind of like picky and choosy.
But they have to be. Like, think about the programmers. Like, they have 20 awards to give out for 2 million artists, and they have to make everyone happy. So they mix people in every year, right? And it's not going to be the same people over and over and over again. Like, the Weeknd shouldn't be crying. His mantle is full.
Right. He's got plenty of accolades.
It's on and on and on, right? And he must just feel like the more the better or something, you know.
Yeah.
But instead
maybe
he
just strives for excellence.
Yeah. It was almost like when A Tribe Called Red, when DJ Shub was there, they were getting put in the indigenous Junos, and they told their management, like, don't submit us in that anymore because we want up and coming that to be a platform to launch new indigenous artists. Isn't that cool?
Right.
So like the Weeknd could look at it like that too, but you know, instead he chose to, you know, and sometimes you can be real hasty on
maybe
social
he's
media.
getting to the diva point now.
Yeah.
Like he has been in the industry long enough. And he's put his time in, and maybe he's like a diva guy.
I don't know, man. That would suggest that he's kind of thinking himself a little bit highly there, right? And Bieber's mad for a different reason. He got nominated 4 times, even one for country. But he's saying that he did an R&B album, but he got nominated pop album of the year, pop singer of the year, all that.
And he's mad.
And he's not mad.
Well, not mad, but
he's just disappointed. He's wondering why they put him in pop when he said he'd put everything into making it an R&B album, and but his whole career is based on pop, right?
Right.
Wasn't he kind of like known as the pop? He's like pretty much the top pop star there is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like male.
Currently, yeah.
Currently, and so yeah, I don't know why these guys are getting upset. I'd be like, if you get nominated 4 times, I'd be like,
I'd be happy to get nominated in the polka category.
In the polka category,
hey, it's a Grammy. I got a Grammy.
If you got a Grammy sitting on this mantle, no one's gonna say anything other than, holy crap, this guy won a Grammy, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What you win your Grammy for?
Yeah, but it just seems like these awards shows, you're not supposed to be commenting on them anyways, because they're just so subjective. And they could just go to different people, you know, because they have different mandates every year. And, you know, that board, like the Grammy board and those judges and juries, they're all in different headspaces when they record. Like, they vote differently every year, you know? Like, who knows? It's kind of crazy.
Who knows what the benchmark is
that exactly.
Particular
but
year.
I guess that's what he's saying is, like, tell us what that process is so we can, you know. But there is no process. Basically, you know, it's just like, every year it changes.
There's no method to their madness.
No, they just pick what they think is right. They do what they think is right. Basically, what the president said, right? Yeah. So, I guess we got to be happy with that. Beyonce, who is amazing always, leads all nominations with 9 nominations again. 9 Grammys, dude.
She's a diva.
And I don't even think I heard any of her music this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Beyonce's huge, dude. 9 more nominations. You know she'd win a lot. That
she'll walk away with at least half of them.
Dua Lipa and Taylor Swift each have 6. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Grammy's coming up.
Yep. An indigenous actor, Robert Mesa, did you hear this?
Grey's Anatomy?
Was added to a hugely popular show, Grey's Anatomy. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. That's a great accolade for Native Americans.
I know, right? That they opened up a space for.
Yeah. And like we say every week, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Now we're on Grey's Anatomy.
That's right. Now we're on Grey's Anatomy. And not somebody like opening a door or homeless on the street or a drug addict.
Yeah.
He's a doctor.
Some drunk guy
stumbles
in from alcohol poisoning.
Things are changing maybe, man.
Yeah.
Like
for the better.
That's amazing representation, man.
I'm a strong believer in, you put positive vibes out, positive things happen.
So, that's what we're trying to do here,
that's
brother.
What we're trying to do with this show
for
our community, for our people, for our viewers, our listeners.
Happiness.
Yeah.
Joy.
Just trying to bring that love and unity there.
Yeah. We're getting a tad sentimental. But it's getting Christmas time. We're allowed to be a little bit.
Man.
We're allowed to be
Tis the season. Tis the season.
Tis the season.
Yeah.
Did you see these mystery monoliths are getting like?
They are.
getting put all over the place. There was one in Seattle in 2001 was the last one, but now
there wasn't one in Utah recently.
Yep, Utah desert, and then another one just showed up in Romania.
Yeah, and today it's gone.
Really?
Yeah, as of like just before when
I know one got took down in Utah.
The one in Romania's gone down now too.
It's crazy.
Because I was just reading the story before I came over.
Right, these huge metal monoliths, right? Like it reminded everyone of the movie I was watching earlier, the 2001: A Space Odyssey. Stanley Kubrick's movie, where the aliens dropped that monolith, to lead them to a signal. Like, it's crazy, dude.
That's wild.
What's people doing?
Yeah, it's either somebody like playing some wild pranks, or there's really some otherworldly stuff going on.
That's a crazy prank, though, to be in Utah desert and then a few days later in Romania. Yeah. Like, that's a huge trip to make, man.
And especially if it's the same thing.
Those big metal.
Yeah.
Crazy. I don't know.
Unexplained mysteries. Cool. I like that stuff.
Me too. Sometimes. I love that mystery stuff, dude. But this is really cool. Variety magazine literally broke the story like really recently about actor Elliot Page, formerly known as Ellen Page. Do you remember Ellen Page from the movie Juno?
Juno, yeah.
Yep, and known recently for his work on the popular Netflix series Umbrella Academy right now, which is huge. But Page has announced that he is transgender. And will now be known as Elliot Page. Isn't that crazy?
That is wild.
Yeah.
Good.
Stepping out.
Good for him, I guess.
Good for him. Yeah, he's known as he, they now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? But Page put out a release saying, to all the trans people who deal with harassment, self-loathing, abuse, threat of violence every day, I see you, I love you, and I'll do everything I can to change the world for a better. Change the world for the better. Last year, it marked his directorial debut examining environmental racism faced by people of color and indigenous communities in Canada. So we have kind of a connection to Elliot Page now too.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool that being themselves.
Right.
Anybody being themselves, I
and stepping
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, I love being trans. I love being queer, right? And the first thing I asked my wife was like, do you think that's gonna affect his movie opportunities and stuff? Because and
it might even open up more now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And then maybe it's more popular now, right? And more genuine.
Because it's getting more commonplace. With the transgender community and whatnot, right? And
where people feel safe to come out now.
Androgynous people, I guess,
and not like they're gonna get stoned. And and then you're saying androgynous. They are actually saying that we're non-binary, neither man or woman, right? So, kudos to them. Kudos to Elliot Page for leading that charge, and taking that step, and then being somebody that other people can like kind of look to if they feel that way,
Yeah, a role model for people, so they're don't feel alone.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's cool. Another cool thing, Michael Jordan, the basketball player, donated $2 million of his earnings from the film Last Dance to food banks in the Carolinas and Chicago. And he said he's proud to help feed America's hungry. Isn't that awesome?
That's a classy move by a classy man.
Really classy.
One of the greats.
Yeah, amazing.
Like Michael Jordan is possibly one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Now he's a humanitarian as well.
Spectacular. Did you see The Last Dance on Netflix?
I loved it.
It is an amazing series. Yeah. So make sure you go check that out.
I think Dennis Rodman is my spirit animal.
I know, right? They give so much backstory on all those things, eh? And to find out Michael Jordan was so like intense.
Yeah.
Like a general.
He was awesome.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was
Kept
a great
the kids
series.
in line.
It was a great series.
Yeah, so make sure you go check that out. And music greats Van Morrison and Eric Clapton are working on a charity single right now in protest of the lockdown restrictions and their effect on musicians. Like the song is called Stand and Deliver, with Clapton saying we need to stand and be counted, and says if we don't do something, live music may never recover. Isn't that crazy?
Right. Yeah, they want to do shows for venues with
people in
as many people as possible, really.
Or outdoor festivals, right? Safely.
Festivals, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Which I want to see, too. Like, I had tickets to go see some concerts that were canceled over the summer.
Right. Like, if you went with your 4 and 6 feet apart from other people's 4, that could work.
It could work. Like, I seen pictures of, like, people in little pens almost.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those little coverings.
That would almost work, too.
Like, and especially if it rained or whatever, right? I'll keep you out of the sun.
Right.
Jeez. Or bring your own tent.
Yeah, bring your own little pop-up tent type of thing.
That'd be crazy. I don't know, man. I think they could do it too, but I'm just excited to hear Eric Clapton and
Van Morrison, yeah,
like,
a couple of legends.
We're just talking about the collaboration with DJ Shub, like the
Yeah.
magic that can come from it. So
Yeah.
I love Eric Clapton. I'm a huge
I've been
fan
hearing
of
a
Eric
lot
Clapton.
of his songs lately.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to satellite radio, so
Yep.
it's got
Sirius
a
XM.
wide range of whatever, right?
Yeah.
But
Layla, man.
yeah.
Layla, man, is my song. Just the dramatics of it and the depths of that song. My favorite.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yep. Some shifty dealings going on in St. John's, where Edward Blake Rudkowski, an Inuit, was stripped of his job working for Inuit Council Assembly because an opponent of his did some digging and found that he was only 17% Inuit, and therefore he lost his status and benefits of the Labrador Inuit Land Claims Agreement.
Mm-hmm.
The man doesn't understand how they came up with the number 17%.
That is a weird number.
But you need to qualify. You need 25% to qualify, and
right.
And he's been a member for decades too. And they
which is crazy. Like that whole blood quantum thing is like a government tactic to
very colonial, isn't it?
Try to bleed us out of their
yeah
indigenous rights that we
lost
have.
His status, right?
Yeah.
Benefits, everything.
And this is a prime example of it.
Dental, healthcare, school, or whatever the agreements were, right?
If he was registered all these years, he identified as
Can't
an Inuit.
Live on the res now?
As an Inuit. I would think he's an Inuit.
I don't know, man. Just the way she goes.
Blood quantum. Government tactics, man.
It's colonial.
Yes.
A real life doctor in New York, Mikhail Varchovsky. I think I'm getting these names right. I'm doing pretty good.
I'm liking how you sound anyway. Better than Alex Trebek, rest his soul.
Right. Anyway, he's dubbed the world's sexiest doctor by People magazine. Is facing backlash after being photographed in Miami partying in a packed party with no social distancing or mask wearing. He's being hailed a hypocrite because online he's like an advocate for mask wearing and like makes TV appearances saying put your mask on and social distance and stuff.
Yeah, that is hypocritical.
That's pretty rough, eh?
Yeah, especially a doctor.
He makes his money on doing that, and then he's all blasted all over partying in Miami.
If he won sexiest man alive, he don't gotta care about that doctor
sexiest
stuff
doctor,
anymore.
right? On People magazine.
Yeah,
and it must have
got to his head. And now
went
he's
to Miami.
Yeah.
But
he's living, man.
If you watch those videos, it's just packed, right, with young, scantily clad women and party goers, right? So
other doctors,
Doctors Without Borders.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Anyways, the federal government announced that they are sending $542 million to indigenous groups to help them set up welfare systems for children and families. Canada has promised to transfer control over child and family services as it recognizes the importance of children growing up around their culture so that they can achieve their full potential. Isn't that cool?
That is great. I know we have a program down here for our children.
Yep, exactly.
Ogodeni Dao.
Yep. Taking care of our own.
Take care of our own, yeah. Some people like it, some people don't. They say it's still just the same thing.
Bureaucratic,
it's
red tape,
CAS type of thing.
Colonial system.
At least it's our people, right? I guess.
And they're not leaving the community, right?
Yeah, and they're trying to keep our kids in our community, which is great. Indigenous
children make up more than 50% of the children in foster care, despite being less than 8% of the population. Indigenous Services Minister Mark Miller said, "This is an essential step to correct errors of the past and will help unleash the potential of Indigenous young people who have been held back for generations." It's pretty cool, man. The last few weeks we've been talking about the government is actually seems like they're focused.
They seem to be wanting to help out rather than hinder us. Like
they usually do a lot of talking, but we're talking about last week it was $2.2 billion, and now it's another
there's
500.
Some money.
Like they're actually putting the money where their mouth is for once, man.
Yeah.
And that's good to see.
Well, they want to keep the economy going with all this COVID stuff.
Right.
So,
So maybe they want to see if the indigenous people will take that money and spend it like they're supposed to.
Hopefully, yeah.
A teacher in Alberta is in some hot water, and this sucks. After a parent complained about a school assignment where the student, did you hear about this?
I did,
the teacher.
I hope that teacher gets fired.
I know, this is awful. Actually asked her students to list positive stories and facts, 5 of them, about Canada's residential schools. The parent with Indigenous heritage expressed her outrage on TikTok, saying she cried when she seen the assignment, knowing full well like the trauma from the schools have left on Indigenous peoples, and believes history should teach the negative effects and sees nothing positive about them.
Yeah. What a terrible human being to like tell kids to research this stuff and find positives.
Right.
Like non-native kids, I'm sure, would have no problem
Right.
because, there's no connection to nothing for them. But for any native kids that do have a connection, that's bringing out some pretty rough stuff.
Yeah.
And
like it feels bad talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I don't like even anytime just driving by.
Yeah,
the mush hole in Brantford.
It's daunting.
I get eerie feelings,
right.
And talking about the place and like knowing what went on and knowing some people that experienced some of that stuff. It's
we know the true history because like even us, like with Sinkio, like we did like a play called One Voice Many Stories that literally did 11 stories from residential school survivor from Mohawk. They're the mush hole. And we actually went and sat and talked with them. They told us their story and we kind of like used that.
Played it out.
Turn it out on stage. Right. And then I did a documentary with Geronimo Henry down here.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked to so many residential survivors. It's like for somebody to trivialize it like this.
And find positives.
It's appalling, dude. These
positives.
These babies were stripped from their lands. They were thrown in these sick tanks, and they were raped, and they were murdered, and strangled, and thrown in the river, and then thrown in these mass graves, and and then brothers would be split up from Saskatchewan to Ontario. You know what I mean? That's how far they would split you apart, and you'd never see your family again. Like, and then to say it like, where do you see positive in that, man?
Name the 5 best things out of that. Top 5 things out of that.
That is awful, man. And I don't want to go on it too long, but I just want to say that whoever like is in charge of that kind of stuff, they make sure you do the right thing because that needs to be
totally reprimand that teacher.
That and totally we should never see that kind of stuff again.
That's like saying to a Jewish person, what's the 5 best things about the Holocaust?
Yeah, what was the
top 5 things?
Your 5 favorite things about Hitler, right?
Yeah.
What was his best quality?
Yeah, his mustache. Come on, people. Give your damn head a shake.
Give your head a shake, sweetheart. This is in Alberta. Come on, people. We don't want to talk about this stuff. Do your research.
Yeah, get with it.
A popular street in Montreal, Peel Street, was decorated using clan symbols from the Mohawk Nation in an effort to help educate about the history of Indigenous peoples, man.
Ace.
Isn't that cool?
I did see that picture.
You drive down the street, and then it has like the turtles, Turtle Clan, Bear
Clan,
and
the
Wolf.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I guess you have these, the QR codes, QR codes where you put your phone up and I guess you can do that to those.
The scan code things, right?
And you can do that to those symbols, and then it'll bring up all this history of the Indigenous people in that area.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
They should have that in Brantford.
They should have that everywhere.
They should have it in every
all
city.
Over North
every
America.
City should have
Indigenous city.
Yeah.
You
And they're all Indigenous.
Yeah.
So, every
the whole
city.
world.
Every city. Like maybe Europe can have what they want, but
No, but I just thought that was really cool, and I just love finding that these Indigenous stories that are on the global stage, dude, because they're so important for us to talk about them, dude. They really, really, really are. This next thing is kind of cool. They said an amazing new medical invention has received its license. The Medtronic Percept PC Deep Brain Stimulation System, quite a mouthful, is being called a game changer by scientists who now are able to monitor and record the brain's day-to-day activity. Isn't that awesome?
That is excellent. But, I don't know if I want anybody knowing my thoughts.
I don't think it is about knowing your thoughts. I think what this does is they said it's going to help a lot of people like with conditions like Parkinson's and epilepsy,
like with memory loss,
OCD stuff,
amnesia and stuff like that.
Right now you go to a doctor's and they do this like scan on you, and it's only for like that one night, and then they send you home, so they only have so much data.
Right
now, this thing is able to sit there, and you're gonna go home, and 6 months later, come back. And they said this is really cool. They said they're gonna be able to actually pinpoint what happens to the brain before stroke, before seizure, before and that data is going to help them.
That's great research.
Yeah, and then this device is going to be filled with this data to recognize those early signs and start sending electrodes to that area of the brain to save people from strokes and epilepsy and stuff. Isn't that crazy?
Could prevent a lot of bad
stuff.
Yeah.
I just
technology
love it.
and medical stuff is what we need,
Yeah, we can't be
working
against
together.
Everything, like the nature, right?
Yeah.
Balance, all this stuff has to work together, man. I just thought that was really cool.
That is awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so good for them. Good on them. A new report revealed that 84% of indigenous people have experienced racism in healthcare. 84%.
I believe
that have went to the doctors,
like, well,
dentists.
you see, like where people don't want to help the person out because the lady dying in
right.
Quebec.
Joyce?
Yeah,
Yep.
Joyce. That's
and she videotaped her last moments.
Yeah, that's a prime example right
84% experience racism,
Yeah.
man, by their healthcare professionals. Where you're supposed to go there, and we're already scared to
Where
go
you're supposed
anyways.
to be taken care of.
Yeah,
know?
they're supposed to treat us like everyone else, but 50% of indigenous healthcare workers also reported experience racism in their job by other employees, like their colleagues, like
Yeah.
to them, and their
Well,
healthcare
racism is
professionals
alive
too.
and well, and I think any of us people of color
Yep.
or minorities, we know that racism is alive and well.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
just the ignorant people
who say it
or
doesn't
blind
exist, right?
people or the blatantly racist
I know they're totally blind.
that say that doesn't exist, but it's alive and well. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Even 13% of the non-indigenous healthcare workers polled made racist comments in the survey itself. Isn't that crazy? Like they couldn't even hold back their racism just to answer these with some kind of dignity.
We're more racist, yeah.
They were just
That's how racist they are.
blatantly racist in the survey, and they
Yeah.
didn't care who knew it. Isn't that
Yeah.
insane? Healthcare workers, and I've heard this before, and it's not justifying it, but I heard a lot of doctors say, "Oh, these things are self-inflicted, right? Drugs and alcohol and like domestic abuse,
Right.
and they don't see it as the same as helping somebody who accidentally fell down the stairs or you know what I mean, got hurt at a baseball game,
Right.
like I
They'll
think they're-
automatically assume
they assume
it
they're-
was probably a alcohol related or
Yeah,
drug related
and they're fighting and got bottled or you know what I mean, and they call but doctors aren't supposed to assume that stuff. They're supposed to assess
Right.
you, ask you what happened, figure it out like they do everyone else, right?
Right.
So that's just basically those stereotypes. As soon as they see you, man,
Yeah,
they
that's
just
some
say-
discrimination, really.
that's awful.
Yeah.
And that's their healthcare workers who might make you sit out there and wait 8 hours and then you die like Joyce in Quebec, right? When they're supposed to help you, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
And people don't understand about this in Canada. You have a great, safe
Well, look at the
trip to the
court case
hospital.
in Hamilton right now. It's with the Muslim kid who got shot.
Awful.
Paramedics could just pass it off like he's just faking it. He's faking an injury. He got shot in the stomach,
Isn't that
and
awful?
they just
And
neglected
bled
him because
out?
he's a brown kid, really.
Ooh. And we need to talk about those kinds of things, Harv, because there's a lot of great things in the world, but we have to make sure that those guys are accountable for those dark and dastardly things that they're
That's
doing
right.
out there to indigenous people, man.
That's right.
Yeah, hold them accountable. I just watched this really cool preview of a movie called that's going to be released soon, The Roots of Lacrosse, A History of the Fastest Game on 2 Feet. It's coming out soon, and I had a chance to watch it. It's amazing. It features Wayne Gretzky, my uncle Gaylord, a small clip interview.
Nice.
Who's no longer with us, rest in peace.
Right.
But it's an amazing film, so I suggest people go watch that.
Who made it?
I'm not really sure who the producers are. I'm just finding out the early information about it. So if you want to go check it out, go check out The Roots of Lacrosse, A History of the Fastest Game on 2 Feet.
Definitely. I'm
Yeah,
all
and
about
we'll
it.
talk more about it when we can both watch it, and we'll figure out who did it all.
Yeah,
and
we'll
stuff.
analyze and dissect it as best as
But
possible.
we had a great show tonight, man, and I really like sitting with you, getting through the facts, nothing but the facts.
Nothing but.
And we enjoy you guys spending your time with us, man. That's almost 600 people now for the Delby episode, our last episode in our episode.
And if you haven't got the book yet, get it.
The Medicine Game.
Yeah.
Yep. Subscribe to the Darren Ross Agency channel, please.
Yep.
Comment, like, all those things. Thank you for spending your Thursday nights with us every Thursday, man.
Get out there and check that DJ Shub
Yep, War
album
Club
out.
album
War
on
Club,
iTunes. Make sure you
iTunes.
get that. Pre-order it, right?
Yep.
And then thank you to everyone who supports us.
Jukasa
Designs. We're gonna bring some more sponsors on down the road, and we just have a great time doing this, and it's important that we keep doing this, brother.
Yeah,
good
Six
to see ya.
Nations and all indigenous communities.
Indigenous Rise, bro.
Gunalunkwa.
Bye.